Hey, hey, hey.
It's about the I gotta say, it's the stupidest thing. It's about the I gotta say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
Ground ball, right side. Cabrera will cut it off. Galarraga covers. He's out. No, he's safe.
Phoenix has the ball, and a pinnacle ball throws it down.
DeBrincat gets it back to Gosses, Barron across, now Kane.
They score! Raymond!
James Bond got to the throw, and it's caught by St. Brown for a first down.
This is BS Sports.
And away we go. Welcome in. New haircut. I just want to acknowledge this before we get started. All the hair is gone. All right? It's gone. Okay? I know if you go back and you look at the really old shows, you'll see the slow progression of my hair growing and growing. At a certain point, I was like, you know what? This is too much to manage. It's too difficult. So chopped it this weekend. I think it looks good, but hey, what do I know? So the only thing is when I have the hat on, it just looks like I'm bald. I'm not bald. I have hair. It's just short. Anyway, we got a good show. Not a great show because it's a slow news week, and I'm sorry, I can't. There's only so much I can do here, okay? Look, we got the AP poll coming out this week for the top 25 college teams. It's a little interesting. I think we'll discuss it. We'll get into it. That'll be how we start the show. We got Lions preseason week 1. I think I want to say last week on the show, I was like, I'm not going to do it. We're not going to get and I got to talk about something. All right? I got to talk about something. And the Lions played a preseason game. They lost to the Giants. We'll talk about it. I also got to talk a little baseball here because I wanted to have fun. All right? Wanted to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have fun. Just wait for it. And we'll do our preseason week 2 picks. All that fun stuff as Javi Baez grounds to second base on a broken bat. And then he grabs Justin Turner there. Not sure what is going on there. Tigers up 1-0 though. 1-0. With Skubal pitching, it's basically a win. Anyway, so I guess I want to just get started here with, oh my goodness, I did not mean to do that. I guess I just want to get started here with the AP top 25 polls. So let me get this right out of the gate, right to start. I really don't care that much about the top 25 poll. It's interesting, and I'll talk about it during the season. It's interesting to see where the media is sort of putting you, right? Because that is just what it is, right? It's the AP, the writers putting together these rankings. But ultimately, given the age of college football, the only ranking that really matters is the playoff ranking. So like the AP and the college football playoff ranking, they can disagree. They don't necessarily disagree, but they can disagree. So basically, until they start releasing those, this is only sort of half useful, right? It just tells you where the media sees you, where the nation writ large sees you. But the other problem with them is, these writers, these media guys, they don't watch all the games. This is not just me talking. This is them admitting this. Right? This is not a new information, right? They're willing to admit, and I don't blame them, right? I don't watch all the games. I host a show where we talk about football and sports and fun and stuff. But I don't watch all the games. I don't have that time. I don't have that. I'm not going to sit in my apartment for 8 hours and watch, SMU take on Liberty. I'm just not going to do it. But all that being said, I'm going to take a look at these just because you're going into the season. This is basically where the media seems to put people. So the most important thing at this point would probably be the top 12 because obviously, again, this is not the playoff rankings, but 12-team playoff. So this is the teams that they think are going to make the playoffs going into the season. So number 12, you have Utah out of the Big 12, obviously. Missouri out of the SEC. Florida State. I don't know where I was. Anyway, Florida State out of the ACC. The defending champions, the University of Michigan. Number 8, Penn State. Number 7, Notre Dame. Ole Miss, number 6. Alabama, number 5. Texas, number 4. Oregon, number 3. Ohio State, number 2. And Georgia, number 1. So, right out of the gate, right out of the bat, I have to talk about the elephant in the room. I got to talk about Michigan. Michigan drops 8 spots from its last ranking of obviously being number 1 after. I don't know if I'm pretty sure they come out with rankings after the championship game. And they go from being the number 1 team to the number 9 team. Now, I think this makes some sense. And before, the Michigan fans call me Sparty McGee, like you lose your quarterback, you lose a lot of players on offense, you lose some players on defense, you lose your head coach, you lose a lot of staff members, up to and including your defensive coordinator. I don't think it's that unreasonable, right? Like, and look, like, again, the problem with these is like you're not guaranteed to be anywhere. Like any of these rankings are obviously subject to change, but I look at a team like Penn State though. Like, is Penn State really a spot better than Michigan? I don't know. Like, Penn State is like, they're just never. I can't stand James Franklin. He's terrible. Penn State, their offense never looks good. They're like a better looking Iowa. They are like Iowa, but with better media, with a better HR department. I don't know. I don't know how they put them above Michigan. I don't like. I get all the other things about Michigan, but at the same time, it's like, well, they are still the defending champs. They do still have a good amount of carryover, not a lot of carryover, but they got some carryover. If I had to have any qualms, I guess I'd switch those two. But then again, I also just hate Penn State, so I wouldn't even get rid of it. Away with me. In the top 4 though, you got Texas at number 4. They drop 1 spot. Oregon moves 3 spots. They go to number 3. Ohio State jumps 8 spots, which is funny because they jump to number 2. So they jump as many spots as Michigan lost. And then Georgia at number 1. So Georgia being number 1, I really don't. I don't see what the problem is. This seems to be like, if Georgia doesn't end up being number 1, whatever. I mean, they'll probably be number 2 or 3. Like, to me, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's Georgia. They're going to be very good. Kirby Smart is certainly going to have his guys ready. Carson Beck another year under his belt, and yeah, they're going to be very good. They're always very good. They're going to be very good. Ohio State at 2. So Ohio State went out. They did a lot in the portal. They got a new quarterback. I want to say this is according to them, they spent millions of dollars in the portal, maybe, or at least $1 million on the quarterback. I don't know how much they spent. They're supposed to be really good. And Ryan Day, as far as I'm concerned, like, has to do something this year in order to keep his job. If he has another year like last year where doesn't win the Big Ten, doesn't beat Michigan, doesn't make it to the playoff, it might be off with Ryan Day's head. And so the standard there is fairly high. You have to do, in my opinion, you have to do one of those 3 things. But at this point, like now with the 12-team playoff, making the playoff really isn't as much of an achievement as it used to be. So to me, it's like, you don't beat Michigan, you're in a real tough spot. If you do beat Michigan, okay, you probably live to see another day, regardless of anything else that happens in the playoff or the Big Ten. Assuming you don't just, go like 7-5 and you happen to beat Michigan. That would also be bad. But I don't know. It's like something about Ohio State and Ryan Day. Like, not that he should be fired right now, but this has to be the year where he does something. Because if it's another year again of just, I'm I don't know what I'm doing. And Kyle McCord throws an interception in the final drive of the game. Now, obviously, Kyle McCord is not on the team anymore. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Texas at 4. I don't really have many comments on that. They were a playoff team. They lost in a shootout against Washington. Yeah, they're probably going to be pretty good this year. Joining the SEC, though, that could be tough. They leave the Big 12, was it? Yeah, Big 12. Join the SEC. That transition might be tough. Who knows? Hard to say at this point. And then another newcomer into not the SEC, but into the Big 10, Oregon at 3. So Oregon, similar to Texas, except that Oregon obviously did not make the college football playoff last year. I've been told they're poised to just dominate the Big 10. Sure, yeah. I mean, the third ranked team in the Big 10, they're the third ranked team in the country according to the AP, and they're the third ranked team or the second ranked team of the Big 10 teams on the AP 25. But that's just the top 12. Those obviously those are going to be subject to change, especially when you get near the bottom. Is Mizzou going to stay down there? Is Utah a bit of a sleeper? Are they going to rise up a little bit? Is Penn State going to drop? Is Michigan going to drop? Is Michigan going to go up? Is Ole Miss going to go up? Either, you really don't know. I mean, you got a team like Alabama, new head coach, Jalen Milroe, second year. Is Kalen DeBoer going to figure it out with him? There's a lot of question marks. And obviously, again, there's another playoff ranking, so it's not indicative of who's going to make the playoff anyway. But outside of that, there's a few that I wouldn't say I have massive qualms with, but just teams that I got question marks about. So USC sits at 23, which is where they ended up last year. I get it. Lincoln Riley, he's going to have a good offense almost certainly, but he's not going to have Caleb Williams. And that's going to change a lot. Because they were losing with Caleb Williams. And now they don't have Caleb Williams. So, now granted, they also have a new defensive coordinator. So maybe they'll have something figured out there. But I don't know. Things don't feel right. Meanwhile, Kerry Carpenter just hit a home run there. Good welcome back for him. Anyway, I don't know. Things just don't feel right for USC. And entering the Big 10, who knows? They're going to go from California weather to having to play. I don't know what their schedule is, but I'm assuming they're going to have to play one cold weather game. And assuming it's not against Indiana, it might be tough. But who knows? Maybe if they're bad, it might actually be tough. Hey, don't mess with the Hoosiers. And also Iowa is in the top 25. They moved down one spot from their last ranking. They were, I guess, 24th. No comment. And by no comment, I mean comment. What? Apparently, they scored 14 touchdowns on all last season. I didn't know that was possible. I genuinely did not think that was and maybe I got that number wrong. But okay, watching Iowa football. When Michigan State played Iowa last year, that was truly the battle of the ages, because it was basically which team's special team or which team's defense is going to fold first, right? Because you're both playing against terrible, it's two bad offenses up against each other, and neither one is they're just getting in each other's way essentially. So yeah, and then I wanted to one last thing here on this. On the other teams receiving votes, now I almost never look at this, but there is one vote from a team for a team on this that I simply don't understand. The other ones I can at least live with. You have your Louisville's, yeah, okay, they made the ACC championship game last year. That makes some sense. SMU, they're usually a pretty solid team. Liberty as well. Washington. The runner-ups last year, but they lose their coach, lose their quarterback, lose a lot of players, but still probably a decent program, but they're entering into a different guy. Anyway, Wisconsin, Nebraska, some of these teams. One vote was cast to Colorado. I don't know if you guys watched a lot of college football last year, but Colorado sucked, really bad. And I don't know if maybe Dion has infiltrated the voting rooms. Maybe he's got an insider. He's hey, I need you to vote. Coach Prime needs you to vote for Colorado because Coach Prime is gonna put it together. And anybody who says otherwise, I'm I don't know. I feel like it's turning into Hulk Hogan. Just like, I'm gonna come after you, brother. Like that. I don't. Why did Colorado get a vote? They won 4 games. I think they. Hold on. Am I stupid? Record by year. Hold on. I'm not gonna say anything until I confirm this. Okay. And okay. And there we go. Yeah, they won as many games as Michigan State last year. And like so basically, and now I understand they have more talent than Michigan State did last year. And they have more talent probably going into this year. But I mean, they might have more overall talent. Like they might have more or better, like in aggregate, or rather, where it matters. Actually, they might have more talent. But the problem is, I don't know if they have an offensive line. I don't know if Dion cares about offense. I'm not sure if he's aware that it is a useful thing to have. Now, look, Coach Prime could make me look like an idiot by the time week 4 or 5 comes around. But man, oh man, it just looks bad. It looks terrible, and I don't know what they did to get a vote in the AP. Oh, he's safe. Wow, that's close. But geez, Louise, I mean, like even Auburn, I kind of get like Auburn sucked last year too, and I don't know if Peyton Thorne is the truth, but like Auburn got 2 votes, right? Like okay, I mean like it's a little much, but okay, I guess I could at least see it. Colorado getting a vote absolutely makes no sense to me. I just don't understand it, and maybe I'll never understand it. I don't know. Maybe some of the few Colorado fans will come across this video and say, no, I'm telling you, Dion, he's gonna be the truth. Just you wait. And I don't know. Dion just feels to me like like a media coach. Like he will get you some primetime games, and he did do that last year. He got them primetime games. He got them big noon games. But the problem is, he got them primetime games without primetime quality entertainment. It was just them getting destroyed. Like basically, like after that Oregon game, I was like, okay, I'm done. Like it was like, okay, he beat TCU. That was impressive. But then TCU turned out to be not that good. And then he beat Nebraska. I was like, all right, okay, maybe there's something here. And now I'm just like, at every step, he just seems to be stepping on a rake. It's like Sideshow Bob. I don't know. So look, once again, just to round this out, does the AP poll really mean much of anything? No, especially not at this stage, but it's kind of interesting. So there you go. So in the middle of that segment, there was the Tigers offense has come to life here. We're now up 3-0 as my boy Parker Meadows strikes out. And speaking of Parker Meadows, you know what? Actually, let's do that. Let's transition into baseball right now. Let's do it. Because I got baseball on the mind. Parker Meadows just struck out. And look, I'm not going to talk about the Tigers week. Because frankly, I don't really care. You probably don't really care. I respect that. All right? Last week, the Tigers split road series. Okay? Won 2 out of 3 against Seattle. Lost 2 out of 3 against San Francisco. Don't really care at this point. Just looking for development and play from Colt Keith and Parker Meadows and some of these guys. I want to talk about Parker Meadows. We're having fun. We're going to talk Parker Meadows. So Parker Meadows this year has had a bit of a strange year. Now, if you were a Tiger fan from March 28th to May the 6th, and the name Parker Meadows came up, it was almost certainly followed up by send him down. Parker Meadows, send him down. Because Parker Meadows was awful. Okay? Parker Meadows, from the beginning of the year to May the 6th, the final game before he got sent down, Parker Meadows and I kid you not, these are real numbers. Parker Meadows batted .096 with a 443 OPS. Let me see. Do we have strikeout numbers? We do not actually. Oh, we don't. I thought we did. Oh, no, we do. 38, 32. I was like, where's the strikeout? I was looking for K, and then I was like, wait, no, it's not going to be. 32 strikeouts. He had 3 RBIs, 11 walks. So he had almost triple the amount of strikeouts than he did walks. He was terrible. So they send him down, and he's down in Toledo for about a month. A little over a month. Or a little under a month. Or a little over a month. Math. Things. Hard. He comes back on July the 5th, and he plays 3 games against the Cincinnati Reds. Oh my gosh. Can I please? Stop highlighting everything. No. Okay. There we go. So he comes back July the 5th, and he plays 3 games, and then he gets hurt. Now, in those 3 games, he was pretty good. He was pretty solid. You know, he had a couple, let me see. He had a home run. He had 4 total hits, double. It was pretty good. And 2 RBIs. Pretty good. He gets hurt, though. So, comes back from the injury, and this is finally, I don't know why the website is being weird now. This is finally where we get to see Parker Meadows really emerge. So since coming back, so starting from that Cincinnati comeback, Parker Meadows has batted .378 with a 1097 OPS and a batting average on balls in play of .429. Now, you don't have to be a mathematician or a baseball savant expert to know that's pretty good. All right? This was the kind of production that obviously, I don't expect him to bat .378 over 162 games, but this was the general kind of production that you kind of expected him to come down or to start the year with. This was when last year he came up. He was pretty good. He's all right. He showed some promise. Was really good as a fielder. But you wanted to see some progress from the bat. We're seeing the progress from the bat right here as we speak. Now tonight he struck out a couple of times, so his batting average has definitely gone down. It will go down from tonight, but it's amazing. He going into the month of May after being sent down in the month of May, he has risen his batting average by 100 points. Now it's still 196, which is not good overall, but it does just go to show you how bad that first month and a couple of weeks there in May was for him. But he has been absolutely incredible, and I want to have fun, damn it. Let me have fun with Parker Meadows, because I never got to have fun with Austin Meadows, because Austin Meadows broke every single bone in his body and then got sad. So let me have fun with Parker Meadows. Meanwhile, McKinstry just lined into, a sharp ground out to first base. Meanwhile, Tigers up 5-0 now. Goodness. Why do we maybe we just have well, you know what? I'm okay with occasionally having some fun on a summer evening. That's what baseball's here for. It's just to allow Mike to have fun on a summer evening and not have to think about things like, what are the Tigers going to do in the offseason? I don't want to think about that. I just want to have fun. All right? We'll talk about that when we talk about that. Anyway, I just want to talk about Parker Meadows. He's been really good, so I hope that he continues on the pace that he is. I mean, as it stands, he is a positive WAR player. He's almost at 1 WAR. If he can end this year on 1 WAR, that will have been an achievement in and of itself. Because the way it was starting, just to get yourself to 1 WAR over, roughly a month or 2 sample size, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Certainly want to get above the Mendoza line, though, because in his career, he's batting .213, and this year he's batting .191. Not exactly ideal. Okay. I don't need a million notifications saying that Terrion Arnold won't miss time. I'm happy. I'm grateful. Terry and Arnold is okay. We're good. It's good to hear. Still waiting to hear about Gibbs and Ennis Rakestraw, though. Hopefully those guys are fine. Whatever. It's the earliest part of the. Well, it's not the earliest part, but anyway. So that's really all I wanted to say. Parker Meadows doing fun. Also, I wanted to briefly talk about this. So let me pull up the standings really quick here. Let me just pull it up because I wanted to brief. And unfortunately, Seth is not here for me to glaze his team. But the San Diego Padres are, in my humble opinion, a very sneaky team here. Now, meanwhile, the Arizona Diamondbacks have crawled back into it, and the Mets have done the thing that the Mets always do, which is collapse it late in the season. But the San Diego Padres this year has been, quite the reversal of last year. Right now, they're in the second seed in the wild card, so I believe they would play San Diego, or they would play San Diego. Of course, they would. They would play Arizona in the wild card, so that'd be an interesting, interdivisional playoff matchup. But Padres have been really good this year, really good, or at least relative to where they were last year. They have been much improved. They're 4 games up in that wild card spot. They got a plus 61 run differential, and I think they're asleep. Like, they have a really good bullpen for one. Obviously, they added to that in the trade deadline. I think they have a lot of great players in their offense. Obviously, you got Fernando Tatis, you got Manny Machado, you got Jurickson Profar, who has come alive this year. Don't be surprised, okay, if the San Diego Padres make a bit of a run here in the postseason. Now, I know we're still, a little over a month out until the playoffs start, but if they keep at the pace that they're at, and I think they will, they can make some noise. That's all I'm saying. And I would love to see it. I'd love to see them just make it, because maybe we'd be able to do some live postseason baseball reactions. That'd be fun. I almost never get to commentate baseball because my Tigers are terrible every year. Just want to have fun. I just want to have fun. Can I not have fun? Guess not. Okay. So, I guess we got to talk about this. I feel disgusting having said that I did, in fact, watch that entire preseason game that the Lions played. That was technically football. Like, I've looked it up. I've looked up the definition. But that was technically football. So, getting into it, Lions lose their preseason opener to the Giants 14-3. Now, that might seem like, a relatively normal football score. Let me tell you, this was, without a doubt, one of the most boring games I've had to watch. You had just 2 quarters where any scoring happened. The Lions scored 3 in the opening quarter. Felt like, okay, we're gonna take an early lead and we're gonna run with it. Then they give up 14 unanswered in the second quarter, and then nothing. Neither team scored. It was terrible. Lions couldn't score with Hendon Hooker, who went down late in that game. He played one quarter of pretty decent football. But the man that I have to talk about is Nathaniel Sudfeld, Super Bowl champion quarterback Nathaniel Sudfeld, might I add. I actually looked that up today. Apparently, he was on the Eagles Super Bowl team. So he is a Super Bowl champion quarterback, Nate Sudfeld. Nate Sudfeld is, without a doubt, the worst quarterback I've ever seen. He is so bad. Like, for one, let me just put apparently he's been in the league for 9 years. He was drafted by the Washington Redskins, didn't play a game. The first NFL game that he played in the regular season, apparently, was in 2017 with the Eagles. And I don't know if he played, but he has stats apparently on football reference. I don't want to ever have to see Nate Sudfeld. Like, give him the David Blau treatment. Go send him to be the quarterback's coach. Go send him to be a guy holding the clipboard, reading Jared Goff the plays, making sure he's all that. Just make him run errands. I don't want to see Nate Sudfeld play in the preseason. I guess if I'd rather see Nate Sudfeld play in the preseason, but the problem we have right now, Hendon Hooker gets hurt. I don't know if he's going to play this Saturday. Nate Sudfeld, well, not currently, not anymore at this point, but Nate Sudfeld was at one time one of our only backups. Luckily, the Lions go ahead and pick up Jake Fromm, who I have to believe is better than Nate Sudfeld. But man, it was so bad. So as far as stats wise, Nate Sudfeld 13 for 24 for 96 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. He lost. He was sacked 4 times for a loss of 22 yards. He had a 46.5 quarterback rating on ESPN here. Yeah. So I just send him away. I don't want to ever see Nate Sudfeld again unless he's holding the clipboard and wearing a baseball cap. That's all. It's the only time I want to see him. But my biggest takeaway from this game, for one, is that the defense looked really good. Now, granted, we're going up against Drew Lock, who then died, and then Tommy DeVito the whole game. Tommy DeVito threw for 92 yards, 8 for 15, no touchdowns, was sacked. He actually was the highest rated quarterback in this game. He had a 72 rating. Drew Lock, though, was completely shut down. 4 for 10, 17 total yards. He had just an 8.3 rating, and he was also sacked. So the defense really did the job. Obviously, you give up the 14 points in the second quarter. That wasn't ideal. But the entire rest of the game, I mean, you had 3 shutout quarters. The problem for the Lions this particular preseason game was the offense just not clicking with Nate Sudfeld under center. But the defense really did play well. And the thing was, so I was actually wondering, where, I hadn't called Terrion Arnold's name at all. And that's because I don't think he did much of anything, because apparently I think he was playing. I mean, is he on the box score? He's not on the box score, but I want to say he played. People were saying that he was covering Malik Neighbors. And I'm not entirely sure if this is true. This is one of those things, because neither one of their names was called, because seemingly nothing happened. But the rumor has it, the rumor that I've been hearing is that Terrion Arnold did. I want to say I saw him on the field. Terrion Arnold did play. He was on Neighbors. They didn't even throw the ball to Neighbors because Terrion Arnold had him locked up, basically. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. And Ennis Rakestraw, he also made a nice play, had a solo tackle there out in space. Was really, really like to see that from him. Broderick Martin had a couple of passes deflected. That was really good to see from probably your backup nose tackle kind of guy that comes in between snaps, maybe or what have you. I was happy to see him. Obviously, he didn't play all of last year, but the Lions traded up in the draft prior to this past draft to go get him. So it was cool to see him go ahead and make that jump there and have a nice game. As far as other players, James Houston, he had a QB hit. Amik Robertson had a pass deflected. That was kind of cool to see. Obviously, picked up in free agency. Who had the sack? Nate Lynn, although he's out for the year, I think. And Isaac Ukwu. I don't know who that is, but he got a sack. Good for him. But either way, despite the names, the defense did perform well. And again, you can't really take much of anything from these. You can't say, well, the defense locked down the Giants, so therefore top 5 deep. No, you can't say that. What I will say, though, is it's at least a start, right? It at least you saw some of the guys that we picked up make some plays. You saw the Amik Robertson. You saw Ennis Rakestraw. You saw Broderick Martin make plays. So, to me, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm not gonna lose my mind about the offense looking terrible under Nate Sudfeld because he is a football terrorist, basically. Oh, and one last thing before we cut this segment here. Jake Bates, 1 for 1 on the field goal from 53. Obviously didn't kick any extra points, but really like to see that in the elements. It was probably the first deep field goal he's had to try in non-indoor arena and an arena filled with at least some amount of people. So really good to see. Really good to see. Hopefully he can build off that. I was hoping to see a little bit more of Jake Bates. Unfortunately, the Lions were going for it a decent amount. But what are you gonna do? So Jake Bates, solid. I mean, only had the one kick, but he made it. So it's like, you know what? You had one kick and you fulfilled your obligation. Good job. That I'm not gonna be mad at it. And Jack Fox was a really good punter. The Lions scored 3 points, guys. What do you want from me? Okay, this is as good of a breakdown of this game as I can give you, but you can't really take much of anything out of it other than individual performance, and at that, a very limited, the tiniest grain of salt, right? I'm running out of things to say because I don't have anything. I can't take anything away from this. Did you like Zonovan Knight's performance? What about Sione Vaki? 29. Sione Vaki actually did. He had a couple of nice runs there. So who knows? One of the things with these preseason games is sometimes a player will have a little play where you're like, oh, and then later on in the season, the regular season, they'll kind of go off. I remember Jahmyr Gibbs in that first preseason game against the Giants last year. I want to say he had like a 15, 20-yard catch and run or something like that. And it was like, oh, here maybe we got something here. And then obviously Jahmyr Gibbs is Jahmyr Gibbs. He's stud. Craig Reynolds, he had 4 carries for 11 yards. It is so I got to hand it to Craig Reynolds, the fact that he is stuck around with this team. I like Craig Reynolds a lot. He's just a dog. He's just a workhorse. So good for Craig Reynolds to still get those reps. And Jamar Jefferson. Did not think he was still on the team. I don't think he's on the team anymore. He had 5 carries for 9 yards. Yeah. Oh, and Donovan Peoples-Jones actually showed up and caught the ball. That's all I got. That's all I got on this. So next week, Lions got the Chiefs. The Chiefs usually play their starters, so probably might not go well. As Kerry Carpenter just hit another bomb. Oh my gosh. 2-run blast for Carp. Oh my goodness. Kerry Bond's narrative is growing strong. Anyway, I'm cutting the segment here. Goodbye. That's all I got. I just can't get over that. Kerry Carpenter, a 2-home run day on his welcome back. Hey, man. Health is certainly going to be a factor for how this offense will perform down the stretch, but Kerry Carpenter is lighting it up. 7-1 Tigers. Yeesh. Yeesh. At least I get to have fun. At least I get to have a little bit of fun. Can Cole Keith hit a home run? That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. That's probably not going to happen then. So one last thing before we get to the picks here. I want to talk about this because I think there is something deeper in not only this news, but the broader narrative around this. So this came out on August the 12th, yesterday, at the time of this recording, from Jordan Schultz, breaking Jets All-Pro rusher Hassan Riddick, who is holding out, has informed the team he wants to be traded from multiple sources. Now, at first, I just thought, oh, okay, Hassan Riddick wants to be traded. And I'm going to be honest. I was just instinctively like, oh, yeah, he's on the Eagles, right? Like, he wants to be traded because he's holding out on his contract. Okay. Little did I know, or little did I remember, that Hassan Riddick already was traded. He was traded to the New York Jets in the offseason. Now, I am somewhat old enough to remember when Hassan Riddick was traded and it was like, oh my gosh, why aren't the Lions going after this guy? Well, Probably this reason. Now, I'm not rubbing it in. Hassan Riddick is a stud. When he's playing on the field, he's an animal. But now I understand probably what was the holdup. He wants this contract, and like, what is wrong with the New York Jets? Like, I know I'm a Lions fan, and historically, the Lions have been much worse than the Jets historically. I mean, the Jets at least have won a Super Bowl. You know, they have had like runs there, for very very short runs, but runs nonetheless, right? Where they are a fairly successful team. Shout out to the butt fumble. But now, like this iteration of the Jets team right here with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, it just seems like at every stage something goes wrong for them. Like I was feeling this way when they traded for Aaron Rodgers, where it was like, okay, Zach Wilson's clearly not working out. But at the time, Zach Wilson was still relatively young. You could see potential in his development, but they were like, nope, we don't want to waste time. Let's go trade for Aaron Rodgers. We'll give Green Bay the farm. And, you know, everybody's like, oh my gosh, are the Jets a Super Bowl team? Oh my God. Seriously, you want to go back? You want to have fun. Go back like preseason last year. Preseason last year. Go look at the people, you know, go look at some of the power rankings. Go look at some of the people taught. I remember vividly multiple times people like, are the Jets a Super Bowl team? Are they a Super Bowl team? Which is absolutely hysterical given how the season actually ended up going. Now, granted, that was under the assumption that Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing all those snaps for, 17 games he was going to be playing. He played one, and that'd be very liberal of me to say he played one because he played like 4 more snaps than me. But on top of that, now you go into this year, Aaron Rodgers coming back from the injury, but then Aaron Rodgers is missing practice for an undisclosed reason. And apparently it was for him to go on vacation to Egypt. Kind of weird. Egypt, not that it's weird to go to vacation on Egypt. It makes sense. But like kind of weird that's like if he's into football, right? Like if he's like, I'm ready, I want to come in, I want to compete, that he's like, no, I don't want to report. I'll go on vacation. What? That seems a little strange. And I top that with the fact that Aaron Rodgers it's been 3 years since Aaron Rodgers has ever had a season even remotely all that good. I mean, like this is what I think it blows my mind a little bit. The last season we saw of Aaron Rodgers, he was kind of mid, right? Like the last game that he played fully healthy was him losing to the Lions and getting booted out of the playoffs, right? Like, or not booted out of the playoffs, but booted from making the playoffs. So that was the last time we saw Rodgers, and that was with a proven head coach in Matt LaFleur, a myriad of you had Christian Watson, you still had oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. They had weapons. Their defense wasn't all that good, but they had weapons. They had players that they could take advantage of. And now you enter into the Jets where you have Robert Saleh, who I think theoretically is a good coach. But the problem is, since he's gotten there, their offense has sucked the entire time. They've never had a good offense, and it's not without talent, right? Like they've had Breece Hall, they've had Garrett Wilson, and now they bring in Aaron Rodgers, but he gets hurt, and then you bring in not Amari Cooper, Alan Lazard, but he sucks. Like they bring in all these guys, and then this is just the icing on the cake. This is all just setting up for Hassan Riddick. They bring him in. And seemingly he never really wanted to be there because he's immediately like, why aren't you signing me? I don't want to practice. That's it. I want to be traded. Did anybody in this organization have any when they traded for Hassan Riddick, did they have some verbal agreement like, we're not going to pay you? Because now it's just he said, she said. Because Hassan Riddick is obviously like, well, I was only going to play you. They said they were going to pay me or I want my contract. That was the only reason I was willing to come to New York. Or if you really want to win, just pay me. That was the deal. But then the Jets GM is like, well, we traded for you with the idea that we weren't going to, give you a new contract. So we don't have to give you a new contract, which makes sense. You don't have to. But you said you were going to play. and you're not going to be traded. So your request for a trade is not going to be honored. And all of this is to say, this is completely disorganized. This sort of thing doesn't happen to the Chiefs. Right now, it doesn't happen to the Lions. It doesn't happen to well, I guess it sort of has happened with Brandon Ayuk, the 49ers, but largely it does not happen with the 49ers. It doesn't really happen with Baltimore. I'm trying to think of some other. It doesn't. I mean, it sort of happened a little bit with Buffalo, but not really. Like teams that are perennially competitive, right? Teams that have been sort of run well. And I know the Lions have only made the playoffs this past year and went to the NFC Championship. All that, I understand. But teams that have organizations that are seemingly well run don't have this kind of stuff. And look, I don't think Hassan Reddick is going anywhere. I really don't. I think it's sooner that Hassan Reddick just doesn't play all year because the Jets were too stupid to figure out what his contract situation was and whether or not he wanted to even play without that contract before, trading for him. And so now they're stuck between a rock and a hard place where it's like, well, we want him to be on the team, but we don't want to pay him. But we also don't want to trade him because then he wins, and then we trade it for this guy just to trade him. I've watched football for a decent amount of time, and I've gotten into his historical football and learning some of the stories of all the years maybe I wasn't paying as much attention. I've never heard of a player gets traded from X to Y, and then at Y requests a trade before even playing a game. It'd be one thing if after 3-4 games there was some falling out, Hassan Reddick and Robert Saleh were yelling at each other in a press conference, and then he requests a trade. That's not what happened. This is like some miscommunication, and to me, that is indicative of the kind of culture that has been building in this Jets organization, which is not exactly a very healthy one. So I don't think the Jets are going to be good. I don't think this was ever going to work, basically. This was never really a good idea, and now they're stuck with it. So, sucks for the Jets, sucks for the Jets fans, but hey, you won a Super Bowl. I don't want to hear it. I don't care how long ago it was. You still won it. I don't have anything, all right? And Jake Rodgers, that is going to be a grand salami for Jake Rodgers. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. 11-1. For the stash, Jake Rodgers. George Kirby's getting murdered. Ooh. Oh, my goodness. Tigers offense, come alive. Yeah, I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game. They're up 11-1 with Terry Scoopleby. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win. Anyway. Everybody's having fun this game. That's for sure. But speaking of having fun, it is that time of the show. Of course, everybody's talking about it. I'm talking about it. You're probably talking about it because you clicked on the video or you're watching the show live. It is, of course, time, as I was grabbing the notes here, for how long can I? Let's repeat. It is everybody's favorite part of the show. It is that time of the show where we do the picks. All right. So let me actually a little louder. There we go. That's good. All right. So last week was pretty close. Seth ended up winning 6-5. So again, this is preseason picks, so we're basically just it's essentially a coin flip. We have no basis for any of our picks. We're just picking things. So first matchup, we got Eagles on the road heading to New England, taking on the Patriots. Seth is taking the Eagles. I'll take the Pats this one. I don't know if Drake May is going to play again. But if he does, I'm assuming he's going to be better than whoever the backup is for the Eagles. Yeah, things. It's in New England. I don't know if that makes any difference, but hey, why not? Give me the Patriots. Falcons on the road taking on the Ravens. Seth is taking the Ravens. I will concur. I want to say the Ravens won last week. Let me actually double check that. I don't know. I don't know where they are. Where did the no, they did not win. Eagles won last week. Whatever. Give me the Ravens. I don't know. I don't like the Falcons. Is that good enough for you? How about that? Bengals on the road taking on the Bears. Seth is taking the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bears in this one. Again, I don't know if Caleb Williams is going to play anymore because obviously he played last week and he looked really good. If he does play at any point, I think he will be better than Jake Browning, probably. One would hope, but I don't know. I don't know who's playing. Okay, I'm just taking a guess. Fun. Giants visiting Houston, taking on the Texans. Seth is taking the Texans. I'll concur. I'll take the Texans. The Giants last week against the Lions looked very mediocre. Did not look like a very good offense. I don't know if it was just the Lions defense was able to shut them down. But give me the Texans. I don't know. Things. Lions Chiefs. Seth is taking the Lions in this one. F it. I'm taking the Lions too. I don't care. The Chiefs usually do play their starters. Lions have no commitment to play their starters and most certainly won't play their starters. But I don't care. Never not taking the Lions. I don't care. Taking the Lions. Why not? Hope Patrick Mahomes throws 3 interceptions. That'd be great. Vikings at the Browns. Seth is taking the Vikings. I'm going to take the Browns here just because I don't think... Well, J.J. McCarthy is not playing, certainly. Obviously injured last week and will be out indefinitely. Who even is the backup for the Browns? I got no clue. He's got to be better than some combination of Sam Darnold or... who's the other guy? Oh my gosh, what was the name of the quarterback? The guy who's... He's probably better than whoever the Vikings are going to put out. Give me the Browns. Up next, the Jets taking on the Panthers. Seth is taking the Jets. J-E-T-S, Jets. This is a battle of the two bad organizations. I suppose I'll just concur. I just don't like the Panthers. Ever. In anything. They're terrible. I'll never pick them. Cardinals taking on the Colts. The pick for Seth here is the Cardinals. I'm going to take the Colts. I don't know if Anthony Richardson is playing or if he has played already. Being as he's probably the starter. But yeah, I'll take the Colts. Kind of an interesting game. It's the two former coordinators for the Eagles coaching against one another. So, yeah, I don't know. Give me the Colts. Commanders at the Dolphins. Seth is taking the Dolphins. Yeah, give me the Dolphins. I don't know if Jaden Daniels has played or what the deal is there, but I don't know. Dolphins have so many weapons. I don't think they're going to really get much play, but I don't know. Things. Give me the Dolphins. I like them because their colors are better. Bills at the Steelers. Seth is taking the Bills. Yeah, the Steelers did look a little, Justin Fields at least looked a little rough, but I will still take the Steelers. I don't know if Russell Wilson is, I want to say he was hurt. And I don't know if he's going to play, but I don't know. Give me the Steelers. We need to have some variety here. Seahawks taking on the Titans. Seth is taking the Seahawks. And I'm going to agree. I'm pretty sure the Titans won last week over the 49ers. Pretty sure they did. So I'm just going to assume that they're going to lose this game because nobody wins 2 games in a row at Tennessee. Nobody. So yeah, give me the Seahawks. Reasons. The battle for Los Angeles. Big rivalry game here. Big rivalry game. Los Angeles Rams and I literally was about to say the San Diego Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers. Seth obviously taking his Chargers. Yeah, I don't. Sure, why not? Chargers. I might as well. I don't know. Like it says at, but like, is it just like because they're gonna have Charger stuff on the field? Like they do play in the same stadium and all. So it seems a little weird that we're categorizing it as that. Who cares? Give me the Chargers. Buccaneers, Jaguars. Seth is taking the Jaguars. over the Bucks. Yeah, I'll take the Jags. I'm pretty sure they won last week. Do they have CJ Beathard? Is he still playing? Has Trevor Lawrence played? Maybe you'll see Trevor Lawrence play. I don't know. Jaguars. I like cats. Kill me. Cowboys. This is the least actually introspective picks I've ever done. Cowboys Raiders. Seth is taking the Cowboys, and just because I hate them, I will take the Raiders. Or I will take the Raiders because I don't like the Cowboys. I hope they lose. Packers at the Broncos. Seth is taking the Broncos. I'm actually going to agree with this. Bo Nix did look pretty good in his preseason game, so yeah, I'll take the Broncos. Sure, why not? And finally, Saints taking on the 49ers. Seth is taking the 49ers. They did lose last week. I don't think lightning strikes twice. I will take the 49ers as well. So yeah, I don't like the Saints. They're boring and pathetic. So I don't care if it's preseason or regular season. Give me the 49ers. So here we go, running it back here. Eagles, Patriots. Seth is taking the Eagles. I will take the Patriots. Falcons, Ravens. We are both taking the Ravens. Bengals, Bears. Seth is taking the Bengals. I am taking the Bears. Giants, Texans. We are both taking the Texans. Lions, Chiefs. We are both taking the Lions. Vikings, Browns. Seth is taking the Vikings. I am taking the Browns. Jets, Panthers. We are both taking the Jets. Cardinals, Colts. Seth is taking the Cardinals. I am taking the Colts. Commanders, Dolphins. We are both taking the Dolphins. Bills, Steelers. Seth is taking the Bills. I am taking the Steelers. Seahawks, Titans. We are both taking the Seahawks. Rams, Chargers. We are both taking the Chargers. Buccaneers, Jaguars. We're both taking the Jaguars. Cowboys, Raiders. Seth is taking the Cowboys. I am taking the Raiders. Packers, Broncos. We are both taking the Broncos. And the Saints, the 49ers. We are both taking the 49ers. And those are your picks for preseason week 2. And that is the show. That's all I got. So with that, I guess a bit of a show note here in case you missed it. I will not be live streaming and reacting and commentating to week 2 of the preseason for the Lions. I will be out of town that day, so I will not be able to watch that game live. So if you're looking for that, if you're hoping for it, sorry, we'll be back presumably for week 3, assuming nothing else comes up. But yeah, that's all I got. So bit of a slow news week, so hopefully maybe some stuff will happen over this next week, and we'll be able to talk some more stuff. College football is 2 weeks away, or at least Michigan State's college football. Week 0, I think, technically starts next week, I want to say. So not that it's all fake anyway, when nobody cares about week 0, but either way, if you enjoyed, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. And if your comment is not just complete smarm, we might have a conversation. So either way, appreciate y'all for stopping by. Appreciate y'all for hanging out, listening in. And I'll see you guys next week. So have a good night, everybody. And I'll see you in next week's show. See you later. Goodbye. See ya.